Welcome back to some of the best tales from tech support. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Magical Rice. I didn't take this call myself, but I listened to the recording later. Hello, this is tech support. How may I help you? Yeah, all our dogs are broken in the office. I think there was a power surge or something overnight. Okay, give me a moment to check if any of our systems detected an issue with the power. There was a short pause. Then, hello, sir? We have no record of any power issues in your building. Can you explain further what's happening? Yes, of course. I got up this morning and took my laptop out of the container of rice. Sorry, sir. Container of rice? Why was your laptop in rice? Oh, because I accidentally spilled some juice on it over the weekend and I wanted to dry it out. Okay, sir. While rice can help absorb moisture, it won't remove any residue left by the liquid. I can arrange for one of our hardware technicians to come by when they are available. Or you can bring your device to their room so they can take a look. No, this is a power issue. We need someone over here now to fix this before the rest of the office comes in. Sir, you are calling from a desk phone, so the power and wired internet connections in your building are working. Based on your description, the issue seems to be with the liquid in the machine. The machine is dry. I kept it in rice for 2 days. Yes, sir, but any residue left inside the machine could still cause issues. Just send someone down here to fix the power issue. I can't believe I'm having to explain technology to someone in your position. I have a PhD, you know. Understood, sir. The technicians will be there as soon as they can. I spoke with the hardware technicians afterward. Turns out this guy had completely fried his laptop and several docking stations. This was back when some dogs connected using prongs at the bottom of the laptops. When they opened his machine, they said the buildup inside was insane. He had apparently ripped the bottom off to put the laptop in rice, but some of the rice got left inside when he closed it back up. When they opened it on their bench, rice fell everywhere. In total, he caused almost 10k in damages, because he thought rice was a magical fix for electronics. The next story is called Emergency Plan. A few years ago, I was working as an IT system administrator at a medium-sized company. The company had recently moved to a new location that better accommodated its operations, including an on-site call center and a medium-scale manufacturing and repair center. Since the move was still fresh, many things were still being figured out. One day we were notified of a gas leak in the manufacturing area. At the time, the building didn't have a dedicated alarm system for gas leaks, so people were running around, informing everyone about a mandatory evacuation. The IT team, all equipped with laptops, grabbed our gear and started heading for the parking lot. By coincidence, our IT director and head of IT support were both out on a business trip that day. As I was walking out the door, the call center director, let's call him Carl, started shouting at me and the other sysadmin. Hey, what are you guys going to do? We're heading to our cars. No, you can't. We can't receive calls. You have to do something. I turned to my coworker and we quickly realized the call center still used desktop computers and soft phones, so they couldn't work remotely. Carl was visibly stressed, trying to hold people back as they evacuated. Just then the fire department arrived to formally clear the building. I asked Carl, what's your plan if there's a fire? Just follow that. What? No. You need to do something. We can't do anything. The phone system probably doesn't work over VPN. I was mostly guessing at this. Just use your fire plan. You guys never gave us a plan for a fire. At that point, more people were streaming out of the building, and I decided to stop engaging. I headed to my car, where I tried calling the IT director, in the slim chance that their flight was delayed. No luck. I searched the company's SharePoint site for any kind of business continuity or emergency plan, but the only documents I found were IT specific. like instructions for offsite backups and running IT operations via VPN. Nothing about moving soft phones to VPN or any contingency for the call center. A few minutes later, Carl knocked on my car window, looking frustrated. Well, I explained that there wasn't a business continuity plan in SharePoint. IT didn't have a solution for relocating the soft phones. And even if we didn't have enough laptops to support the entire call center. Carl didn't like my answer. He stormed off to the CEO, who was speaking with the fire department. I could see Carl pointing in my direction and raising his voice. Clearly the company was losing business. And in his eyes, it was somehow my fault. After about 45 minutes, the fire department cleared us to return to the building. Later that day, I had 2 meetings scheduled with Carl and the COO. Since both IT leadership positions were out, it felt like I was being set up as the scapegoat. Fortunately, the first meeting was cancelled, and the second was interrupted by the CEO, who reminded everyone that it was the IT director's responsibility, not us sysadmins, to handle these issues. When the IT director returned, I explained what had happened, and nothing bad came of it for me. The company eventually hired a consultant to develop a real business continuity plan for emergencies. Unsurprisingly, it turned out IT wasn't supposed to have a magical button to fix gas leaks. For months after, Carl would give me the coldest looks whenever we passed in the hall, but honestly, I think I handled the situation as best I could. The third story is called Spider Attack. It was Halloween, and like every year, the office in Building B was buzzing with activity for our Halloween party. On top of that, it was time for the regular incident response plan review. Everyone from desktop support to security, property management, the CIO and the CISO were packed into the conference room. Thankfully, I had requested to work from Building A that day. As the IRP review started, we were going through various scenarios, but some members deliberately excluded from answering to keep things focused. Partway through, our new security analyst suddenly spoke up and said, "We have spiders attacking our network." At first, everyone was confused. Was this part of the exercise? Then a wave of slight panic hit. This wasn't part of the plan. The CISO asked, "Where are you seeing this?" The analyst replied, "We just received a critical ticket." Someone pulled up the ticket and read it aloud. Web spider attacking printer in Building A. It didn't make any sense. Immediately, the network, security and web development teams started checking their various metrics and logs. Meanwhile, since I was working from Building A, I decided to check the printers myself. When I got to the executive suite, I found the spiders. Tiny plastic ones, scattered all over the flatbed scanner. The next story is called Santa's Presents. In the not so distant past, there was a grand project to refresh our site. Pallets upon pallets of new equipment arrived. Desktops, monitors, as many as our storeroom could hold. Desks were stripped and rebuilt. Everything was shiny, new and factory fresh, with an unblemished beauty akin to a perfect blanket of snow. Curious, I asked, "Are we going to refresh the network cabling too?" My mind was on the decades-old Cat5 cables, snaking directly from the server room, without a single RJ45 wall socket in sight. The response I received was silence. The kind of silence you only find in acoustically insulated rooms. Meanwhile, deliveries kept coming. Some boxes were different, flatter, heavier. These were set aside in the corner, unopened. It seemed Santa was visiting us quite often, showering us with gifts. Boxes arrived, were opened, sorted, recycled. Yet some remained untouched. The excitement grew. PCs were ready to be imaged, promising a fresh start. But when we deployed the images, strange and erratic behavior began. Intermittent faults, odd discrepancies. If only we had refreshed the network cabling too. The pristine snow was now showing signs of wear. Yet the deliveries didn't stop. Our storeroom was filling up rapidly. I asked, What are we going to do with all this equipment? Still, there was silence. Eventually, I decided to write to Santa. My letter pointed out the mismatch between our desk count, the number of setups, and the growing stockpile. Santa replied, and it wasn't friendly. He told me to mind my own business. Third, I wrote a long letter, complete with numbers, outlining the situation. This time, Santa called. Are these numbers right? From then on, Santa and I became frequent pen pals. Well, more like business associates. Weekly calls followed, discussing the same numbers again and again. It seemed Santa was keen to fix things, but didn't want anyone else to know there had been a mix-up. One day, another Santa, Santa 2, reached out. He wanted to know if we had received an extra special box. I confirmed we had it, but I also asked about the pile of switches accumulating in our storeroom. Santa 2 didn't have an answer for that. I did some math. The number of desks in the building divided by 48 ports per switch. The result was alarming. We had far too many switches, more than we could ever need. There must be other sites missing their share of equipment. I wrote a letter to several Santas this time, explaining the surplus. Santa 2 called back, sounding concerned. Could you send me a photo of them? The last story is called Terrible Negotiator. This story happened quite a while ago, probably over 15 years back. I work as an independent Mac consultant, which means people look me up online, reach out, and I come to their house to fix their Mac related problems. These days, most communication happens through email, but back then it was mostly phone calls. One day I got a call from a woman. Sometimes people just want to schedule an appointment, and other times they'd want to talk things out for a bit first. This particular woman had a lot of questions, and we ended up talking for about an hour. It was a productive conversation, and she seemed happy and completely normal, no red flags. By the end, she said something like, "Let me think it all over and I'll get back to you," which was fine by me. At that point I was charging $65 an hour for my services. A few days later I got a voicemail from her, but her tone was very different this time. She sounded annoyed, maybe even angry. In her message she said something along the lines of, "I'm interested in hiring you, but I'm a nurse and only make $40 an hour, so I don't see why I should pay you more than that. If you are willing to work for $40 an hour, call me back." She didn't get a call back. Sometimes it's better to find out someone's a bit difficult before you show up at their house, doing work you may or may not get paid for. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.